Thank you, everybody, for joining us back here at Logiq's channel. We're, of course, sitting here once again with Chief Executive Officer Brent Suen. Brent, I heard you have hit an exciting milestone. Tell us what the 411 is.
Sure. Thanks for having us again, or me again. Certainly, last Friday, we announced a definitive merger agreement with a NASDAQ-listed SPAC. For those viewers who are not familiar with SPACs, very simply put, it is it's a company, but not really a company. It's cash that goes in IPOs onto NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange. The management, or what are called the sponsors of the SPAC, they raise the money and they're listed on a senior stock exchange. They will then go and spend up to a year identifying and completing a merger transaction with an existing business that they believe is compelling and obviously worth a lot more than what they've acquired it for. So in this particular one, that happens to be us. In simple terms, and our viewers can certainly go and look at the news in the filings, which are a lot more detailed. But I think the high level items that are very exciting are the value of the transaction is $114 million in Aubrey stock. So on the close, which we anticipate being the end of December, shareholders of Logiq will receive $114 million worth of Aubrey stock. And they also maintain their current holding in Logiq, but the underlying business actually goes to Aubrey. So let's talk about two things. Value. What is that per share? Currently, with 34.5 million shares outstanding, that comes out to about $3.27 per share. We're trading at 42. So I guess the investment community out there hasn't completely bought into it yet, and there is another 4 months. And then secondly, which is the second question, what happens to Logiq? Answering the second question, we would seek, or someone else would seek, to be publicly traded and could merge into Logiq. If the valuation is high enough, our shareholders would maintain a minimum of 10% interest of that incoming business. And if it's, let's just say, $1 billion business, they would have $100 million worth of value there. I throw those numbers out because there are a number of privately held companies that have sought to IPO recently and cannot get out the gates. It's an easier way of being public. They can then uplist with their investment banker, do a simultaneous raise, and our shareholders do very well. So again, just in summary, the Aubrey SPAC transaction is worth currently about $3.27 per share. And should we do a transaction with another asset or business, we would intend to have it at a similar or higher value. And again, there are a number of candidates around.
Yeah, very well said, Brent. Congratulations on this. Obviously, we get into SPACs. People may have a lot of questions, and we encourage you guys to ask them, and we'll go into as much detail as we can. But Brent, thank you so much for coming us on and sharing your insight today. Is there anything else you want to share today before we go?
Sure. So I think that with the definitive merger agreement having been announced, I think it's safe to say that during the preceding 7 weeks that we were working on the transaction, and we still are, but that part, we were fairly quiet about new developments. So we should start that up again soon, and our shareholders and anyone watching us who's intrigued will start to see a lot more information flow coming from us about the near term and intermediate term.
Perfect. Yeah, very well said. Noses were to the grindstone, but now we can come up and talk more. So everybody, please stay tuned and follow us along for this journey. Of course, Brent, thank you again for your time. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Thanks, Mike.